Well, good morning, my dear friends. Sure is good to see you today. Here I am, only about 160 years late to the party. Better late than never, right? Folks used to call me Mr. President. But let us skip all that today. These days, I am just Grandpa Abe. Someone called out to me the other day, and the warmth in their voice made me smile. Hey, Grandpa Abe is here. You know what? I kinda like the ring of that. It feels warmer somehow. First thing I noticed coming back into this world was this. These days, folks seem way more into coffee than into Lincoln, and honestly, I cannot blame them one bit. So I decided to try it myself. The first time I had coffee, I gave that cup a real suspicious look and said to the barista, "Is this what they call coffee these days? It is a lot stronger than I remember." The young barista smiled kindly and suggested, "You can add some sugar, sir." So I did. One spoonful. I took another sip, and my eyes widened. Well, that is better. Why do I suddenly feel like I could drink a whole pot? Everyone smiled at my reaction. I told them this new coffee really packs a punch. Then the barista asked me something that completely confused me. Would you like oat milk, almond milk, or soy? I blinked a few times and asked her back, "Do you have regular cow's milk? You know, the original stuff. Back in my day, the only milk we had came from the cow, and the cow did not offer almond flavor." The whole line smiled at that. Then she asked me another question. "Do you want it iced or hot?" I paused and said with a little grin, "Mom, the last time my coffee was iced, it was because it was winter." Later, I discovered something wonderful called senior coffee, 99 cents. I thought to myself, you know, times have changed when your coffee costs less than water, but hits harder than your morning alarm. After that, I was hooked. I got to say, the world sure changed since I left. I took my first ride in one of those yellow taxis and almost lost my breath when I saw the fare. Wait, $15 for 3 blocks. I could not help but shake my head. Back in my day, $15 got you a horse and a hat, and maybe even the whole saddle. Now it just gets you motion sickness. The driver just grinned at me. He probably heard that line from every gray-haired fellow in town. Then came the automobile. A friend offered me a ride. When I got in, settling into the passenger seat, the driver turned to me and said, "Seatbelt on, sir." I smiled, remembering the old days, and replied, "In my time, the seatbelt was called holding on for dear life." He said it ran on an engine, some kind of mechanical marvel. I nodded thoughtfully and said, "No horses, no manure. I suppose that is progress, though I do miss the sound of neighs over honks." When we hit the highway, I asked nervously, "Is it safe to go this fast?" He glanced over with an amused expression and said, "Actually, sir, we are going pretty slow." I shook my head in disbelief. This is slow. A trip that took a full day by horse now takes an hour. Makes you think, does it not? And airplanes? Do not get me started. People flying in the sky, 8 hours to Europe. That is less than a good nap. Back in my day, you left for Europe by ship and came back with a beard, if the sea allowed it. Now you just come back with jet lag. The subway surprised me, too. Those doors beeping, closing faster than any promise I ever heard. Even the old doors I knew did not close that quick. I walked into a convenience store and asked the clerk, "What is all this stuff?" He pointed to a colorful cup and explained, "That is instant ramen, sir. Just add hot water." I smiled and said, "Instant noodles." Back then, the only thing instant was regret. The first time I saw a smartphone, I was truly amazed. I asked a young man on the street, "What is this little gadget?" He looked up and explained with a friendly smile, "It is a smartphone, sir. You can ask it anything." I raised my eyebrows and said, "Anything? Can it tell me where my socks disappear to?" He grinned and said, Not yet, sir." I nodded thoughtfully. "Then it is not that smart." He showed me more. I watched in wonder and asked him, "So this little box knows everything?" He nodded and said, "Yep. It even knows your birthday, Mr. Lincoln." I grinned and shot back, "Well, then it owes me a gift." He showed me how it works. Back in my day, sending a message took weeks by mail. Now you tap a piece of glass, and it is done. I said to him, genuinely amazed, "This feels like something straight out of a sci-fi flick." But then I tried typing my name, and the thing changed it to Link Horn. I fought a whole war, and now I am losing to autocorrect. Then I thought for a moment and smiled to myself. In my time, we had horses, not engines. The fastest thing around was a train, and even that took a while to stop. Now you have got cars without horses, planes in the sky, and voices that come out of tiny boxes. I shook my head in wonder. I guess time turned out to be the greatest inventor of all. If you ever invite me, I would be happy to sit in the corner of a small-town diner, share a cup of coffee and a slice of apple pie. No fancy speeches, just good company. A long time ago, I carried a heavy responsibility. But these days I just want to listen. Not to give orders, not to lecture, just to listen. As I learned to live in this new world, I started running into folks who keep it running. Not the young ones rushing around with their phones, but the folks who carry stories right there in their eyes. Your generation